Let's talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Also live on Facebook and on YouTube. We're having the conversations that are the crucial conversations that Erie needs, and certainly an important one is to talk about industry and manufacturing. And so we're excited to welcome to the program here Sara Hanks. She is the president and CEO of the Northwest Industrial Resource Center. Sara, welcome. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Joel. It's great to be here today with you.
Now, I'm not sure, you have not been on the show before, right? Or have you?
If I was, it was during COVID, and it was with my startup as part of one of the Techcelerator programs.
What were you involved in back then? What was it?
It was called Leverage for Data. It was part of the Erie Chambers. I can't remember. It's Fire and Ice now. Yeah. But I wonder
if we was it on Zoom or did we?
It was on Zoom.
Okay, because we did do in person at one of the homecomings as well. Well, remind us of your origin story. Are you transplanted to Erie or did you grow up here?
So I'm a transplant into Erie. I came to Erie in 2000 with GE Transportation.
Oh, wow.
They recruited me out of college, and I came, toured Building 10. I got an opportunity to see locomotives during my interview being assembled. I was A, hooked on manufacturing, and I was B, hooked on Erie.
Wow. What was your degree in then?
My degree was in mechanical engineering.
Okay, gotcha. And so how long did you stay with GE then?
So I left GE when they became Wabtec.
Okay,
as part of the merger or the acquisition. I left that in April of last year, and that was to join the NWIRC.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited that you've taken on this task now almost a year into this, right? And tell us a little bit about, the foundational concepts of the Northwest Industrial Resource Center, because not a lot of folks understand all these alphabet soup agencies, right?
I think that's been the biggest challenge stepping into this role, is really understanding the landscape of the different organizations and how they serve our community members. And so I understand where it's alphabet soup. But the NWIRC, we're part of a national network called the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. The state of Pennsylvania, that Manufacturing Extension Partnership is split into 7 industrial resource centers. Okay. The Northwest Industrial Resource. Work. And operational excellence. So how can we explore how work is being done within the manufacturing walls, both in the office as well as on the shop floor, in order to identify opportunities to drive productivity and efficiencies? We also help.
Where are these best practices developed? Are you guys developing them, or is it, are you kind of taking a look at kind of the broad spectrum of what's going on across the country and around the world and trying to bring those in? I mean, when you're doing an analysis, right? When you're doing a strategic analysis of like one of your clients, that's got to be informed by something, I guess.
Sure. Well, I think it starts with their problems. What are the biggest challenges that the manufacturers face? And then identifying what are those key things that we can help provide solutions for in order to combat those problems. We have experts within our staff. Those experts both draw on industry standards, so your lean manufacturing as an example, but they also bring their own experience from being in the industry. And by putting their personal spin on it, I think we can customize solutions that are pretty good. And then also where we don't have staff internally, we work with other third parties that have expertise, and we'll invite them to work with us on projects for those capabilities that aren't in-house.
I'm dipping my toe into really an area I don't understand anything about, but do you also facilitate some of these certifications, like ISO certifications and things? Maybe tell us, because you see that on a website, and you're like, well, that sounds impressive, but I don't know what it means.
Sure.
You know?
So we help in a couple fronts. If a company wants to become ISO certified, they can contact us, and we have a third-party service provider that we work with. One of the great opportunities that we have today that we don't always have available is the availability of a mini grant to help offset some of the cost. And so we work with different funding sources to find grant opportunities because as a nonprofit, and that can help offset some of those costs to become certified for those manufacturers. But then also, if somebody wants to refresh their skills, they can attend a public training. Okay. And so it's not a full project of an ISO certification readiness program, but it's, this is how you do internal auditing, or this is what you need to consider when you implement your quality system. Interesting.
And in the end, the idea is to make the sustainability and the capacity of this manufacturer that much greater, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, do you talk to men and women out there saying, I really want to get to a 2x or 5x position in the next 3 to 5 years, and you work with them to try to meet some of those goals like
Absolutely.
that? Okay.
Absolutely. One company, for an example, one of their challenges is it takes too long to get a purchase order out there. They're a manufacturer that it's custom work.
So they're a job shop kind of thing.
Yeah, job shop. And it just takes too long from the first time a customer inquires to the point where they say, this is how much it's going to cost, and then converting that into a PO. So we'll look at what we call the value stream, which is every step of the process from that inquiry to the delivery of what they need to provide. And we look for opportunities to eliminate waste. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can fix your process, or you can adopt technology.
This is where the AI question comes in. You knew it was coming, didn't you? So, how informed are some of these conversations bringing in artificial intelligence? I mean, like, how is that coming along here?
I feel like the conversation has shifted. In the last decade of my career at GE and Wabtec, I was working in the artificial intelligence space. It was called machine learning then.
Right, it wasn't as sexy as AI,
and
right?
it wasn't as accessible. I mean, I had a team of IT engineers and a team of data scientists trying to build a model that now you just throw something into ChatGPT and you can get a result like that, and it would have taken a year and a half to probably not even have a successful model. So
I just find, again, that maybe this is being ageist, but I'm an old man, so like it would be hard, I think, if I've been in the business for 40 years and then you come and tell me, gosh, this way of decision making is totally gonna change for you. It's like that's a big deal.
And people are afraid. I think there's some fear of like job offset.
Yeah.
And I think that the conversation 9 months ago was more standoffish, whereas I think there's been a shift recently to let me see, and I'm ready to peek over the hood. And I think the next step is really figuring out how to get started. Yeah. And I don't know that I've seen much like high success of true transformation of the adoption of AI. I think it's readily adopted as a personal productivity tool. So sure. I think that's helping people overcome the fear. But I haven't seen yet true practices where it's really changed the way business is operated. But I think it will get there in the next couple of years. I
mean, do you think that an organization like yours will need an AI expert, or does everybody need to become an AI expert at a resource like IRC?
So I think that everybody needs to have AI and some basic level of the fundamentals. I think using it to do your job is going to make you relevant and continue to improve your productivity. So I think it's everybody's best interest to at least think about that.
It's almost like if I were a CEO of a mid-sized manufacturing plant, I would want to know from all of my vendors, from my attorney to my accountant to my industrial resource person and the Chamber of Commerce, hey, where are you guys at with AI, right? I mean, it's almost like the expectation should be high at this point.
Sure. And I think the expectation should be high. I think that the next step forward is to come together as organizations and start thinking about how do we strategically help shape this area for the adoption and the transformation that's going to happen with AI. And I know that Brandon Mendoza has a concept to bring together some organizations, and I believe our first meeting is next month.
Okay.
So
a huddle.
Yes, a huddle.
That's awesome. Hey, let's get to our first break here. We're talking to Sara Hanks. She is from the NWIRC. You are tuned to Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show on this Tuesday. Let's talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're talking manufacturing, and pretty excited about the upcoming Driving Impact for Manufacturers Conference coming up on March 25th at the Bayfront Convention Center. And with us is Sara Hanks. She's the president and CEO of the NWIRC, who are putting on this event. So tell us a little bit about this event. What's the origin story of this, and what are some of the features here?
Sure. So the DIFM conference was actually created last year. It was funded out of a grant called, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but BEP grant. Or no, it was Blue Forge. Sorry.
Blue Forge. Okay.
Still. Anyway, and the purpose of it was to address workforce challenges. So our first conference was last year. I had the opportunity to attend in the second half. It was during my transition period from one career to another. And this year I have the pleasure of seeing the conference.
Is this still about workforce?
It is still about workforce.
And that seems to be like the number one thing, isn't it?
I hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
I have trouble finding people, keeping people, and then how do we upskill our people?
I love where it says here in the release, where strategy meets action and connections spark change.
And the reason, so being given tools that you can take with you that you would hear through our breakout sessions is one thing that's a very tactical output of the conference, right? I'm going to sit through a breakout session. I'm going to understand, here's some things that I can do. But what we found last year and what we're really excited about this year is really the table talk. And the conversation that happens when you bring manufacturers from different industry or different organizations together, and you couple that with other service providers. And the way we cultivate that table talk in our conference is through an activity that we start the conference out with. Last year, it was a game. It was a 4-hour game. It was very successful. But in order to kind of reduce the duration of our conference, but then also create something that was organically from us, we've created a program called the Manufacturing Mindshare. And that will be a 1-hour activity where people will be engaged in thinking through some challenging questions as a table and actually driving that dialogue and that peer-to-peer insights that really become what people take away and enact.
Who should come to this? Because, again, what we always talk about is, for many manufacturers, the priority is the widget, is keeping that flywheel going. And we're saying, hey, we need you to take a day so that you can work on your company. But that might mean you need to either hand the widget to somebody else or, take a day off, period,
So we invite everybody from the shop floor supervisor up through the senior leadership within the company. And we recommend that all types of roles be considered. Since it's a workforce conference, we do get a good share of people from HR, but our tracks are broad enough that I believe everybody will have something to take away from it. Even if you're an engineering leader or you're leading your customer service team, there will be a little bit of something for everybody.
I find it interesting. Yeah, if you were, let's say you were that ME coming right out of school, and you have you have your choice, right? Am I going to go to Erie? Am I going to go down south? Am I going to go to a big company? Am I going to go to a small company? Am I going to go into academia? There, that manufacturing and that engineering shop head, they really have a challenge there.
Sure.
Recruiting you.
Sure. Absolutely. Because, they don't have time.
Right. They're still designing stuff.
You're in a smaller shop.
Right.
It's hard. And I think, last year at our conference, the biggest takeaway from our keynote speaker was on how do you craft that job description to recruit people. This year, our keynote speaker is addressing a bit of a different topic. It's more around, as a leader and you're encountering these periods of stress, how do you make sure that you're what can you do differently as a leader during those times of stress?
Yeah,
So
the
it's a little
fella
more
is
personal.
Garrison Wynn, mixing humor with proven tactics to help leaders communicate clearly, build trust fast, and create cultures that stick. Culture, whether you are, whether you are old-fashioned manufacturing or super high-tech, the culture is the king, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you can feel it when you walk through the shop.
Yeah. I mean, they could be sooty or they could be pristine, but if they have a smile on their face and they're enjoying what they're doing at their task, that is a productive shop. Generally.
It's evident. Yep.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. Again, you have these breakout sessions. Maybe take a minute and talk about those.
Sure. So our breakout sessions are divided into 4 things that we believe are really important to have a strong workforce. I think it starts with leadership. So we've got a track that's dedicated to executive leaders. I think the people who should attend that are those that are in those executive people or those who are aspiring to be. I think there's some development opportunity there. The second is you need to have, like you said, we got to have a good culture. So how do you create a culture that cultivates talent? Operational excellence, that's going to be more educational from a toolkit standpoint. And how do you make things more lean? So we've got a guy that's an expert on maintenance, and we've got someone that's going to talk about Gemba.
What's Gemba?
Gemba, Gemba. It means to go see. And it's a lean term, but it really is a conversation that happens on the shop floor that's structured to go through what are the challenges from being able to produce what you need to produce that day, and then what are the actions people are taking so that you work through those challenges, and then also how do you prevent recurrence.
Interesting. It sounds like, every day is kind of different on the manufacturing shop.
Every day, every hour.
Which is counterintuitive.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, most of us non-manufacturers think, okay, you're making part number P1706, and you're just doing 100,000 of them today.
Until the machine goes down, or the parts that you need didn't come in yet,
Right.
or a person's out sick.
There you go. Hold that thought. We got Sara with us here from NWIRC. We're going to take our bottom of the hour news break. More with her. We're going to open up the phones too for your manufacturing questions at 814-679-1080. Thanks so much for tuning in to Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Sara Hanks is with us. She's the president and CEO of the Northwest Industrial Resource Center. Their upcoming event is on March 25th at the Bayfront Convention Center. It's entitled Driving Impact for Manufacturers Conference here, the DIFM 26. Sara, how do people get involved with this event? And it's very reasonable to do so.
Sure. You know. So registrations are on our website. So at NWIRC.org/DIFM26. That'll take you right to the registration.
And again, you mentioned it's designed for CEOs, for HR, for shop leaders, for foremen, designers, and so on. And participation is going to be crucial as a community to build up these best practices, I would think,
Oh, absolutely. I think we're stronger as a region if we all rise together. Mm-hmm. I love the concept of creating industry clusters, and how do you pull the resources together from supporting organizations, but then also how do you share that expertise around the manufacturing community? I think that will put us on the map as a region, which if we can be recognized as a forward-facing, we're ahead of the times manufacturing community that also has deep knowledge and expertise, and we've got people who've been doing manufacturing for decades. That marriage is, I think, something that could be unique for our era or our area.
Yeah.
And if we can be seen that way globally, what kind of new business would that bring to our region?
Let's talk about career pathways, because again, a lot of what we're talking about here at the conference are these workforce challenges. And so what do you think, from your perspective as the IRC, needs to happen in Pennsylvania? I mean, we've got a couple challenges. We have population decline. Mm. We've got so we have actually less children in the pipeline, and then we've got to expose children to the career pathways for industry and so on. What are some of your thoughts, on the solution side of this, and what are some of the things the IRC have been working on in regard?
I think. So the population decline isn't. I don't
it's
have
not
a line
an industrial
of. I don't know how to,
issue.
Yes, I don't know how to solve that one.
Right.
But as far as exposing people to manufacturing careers, we've had a number of programs in the last 3 years specifically around doing that. What NWIRC's role often is to be a convener and a conductor of some of the programs that exist that are out there. There's apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships, so working with the German Chamber on connecting the resources that they have available with the manufacturers is just one example. We have stood up a number of manufacturing enterprises within high schools and technical career education units.
Very involved in the McDowell manufacturing, right?
Yeah, McDowell manufacturing, that was, we helped facilitate a couple of the grants that they had done and brought some of the manmanufacturers to them to make the parts. And, my daughter was part of the program.
Was she? Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
But there's several schools like that around our 13 county footprint that we've helped enable to do that in order to expose kids. And it's not just careers in being on the shop floor. What these programs do is they expose the whole value stream and the whole types of careers that are available. So we have a Clarion Limestone High School as an example. They have a strong marketing department, and they have students that are going to pursue marketing careers.
Nice.
Just because they're getting exposed and they're doing it in a way that's creating meaningful things.
Well, I mean, you have to have an accountant. You have to have the whole.
You need an engineer to be able to quote parts. You need to have. It's pretty exciting. And then, actually, the day after our conference, we're hot off the press, we're convening a group of different different resources, and we'll be sending out invitations for manufacturers to attend. We're calling it the Manufacturing Community Connection. And we're sponsoring a breakfast at the Sheraton, and we have speakers from the Department of Economic and Community Development. We have the GCAC is going to be available to talk about their Summer Jam program, which is like I'm dipping my toe into a job as a means to showcase some of the local resources that are here to not only connect the dots of people to the manufacturer, but give them a little bit of a nudge to help offset some of the costs associated with doing that. So
that's important. One of the things that in our conversations that I've been hearing is the impact of having those line workers available. And that immigration or the lack thereof has impacted this region. Have you heard that as well from some of your membership?
I've heard it. I haven't been in active conversations regarding what do you do about it and what, what's the solution? Because that was a good path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about when you were working at the GE, I always like to do the old way of saying it. But at WabTech, I mean, several of your colleagues, let's say in engineering, several of your colleagues in supply chain would have been foreign born, more than likely, right? And that's those are special visas. Those are high value people that are now having a difficult time coming to our shores because of public policy, and that seems to be impacting even down to the plastic plants in West County, right? I mean, we're dealing with how public policy is affecting a workforce here in Erie County.
Well, I've got to stay neutral to conversations on public policy.
well, absolutely, but it is an issue. I'm sure you're hearing
lost opportunity, absolutely. And then I heard of a manufacturer today, and they have a very small number of people that work there, and in that small number of people, there's seven different languages.
Is it really? Wow.
And so, like having an environment where you're able to recruit and retain that level is one amazing feat in itself, I think. But then when you're not bringing in like refugees or things of that sort, like, that is a source of pipeline that is being choked.
Another challenge that I'm sure all these folks are dealing with is pressure on wage. I mean, the cost of living has gone up. Cost of housing has gone up. Healthcare has gone up. And generally, oftentimes in manufacturing, your margins are super tight, right? I mean,
and then a lot of manufacturers, in order to keep their employees, they absorb those increasing costs, at least on the healthcare side, and that's just a slash right to the profitability. And then what? At some point, decisions have to be made that may impact other things.
I mean, do the folks that work at IRC, are they sometimes kind of the shoulder to cry on?
Oh, I definitely think there's some level of therapist in all of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you have solutions, but you also have a listening ear on, because you've heard these stories.
Sure. And all of these stories, especially in aggregate, become the strategy of what can we do as an organization and what is that next challenge that we can tackle. And that it was workforce for a long time, and the way we solve that or help that is to create a program, onboard a resource. There's a lot more skilled people to be able to meet them, and it even can go as early as pipeline into the technical schools, and had getting kids interested in those career paths early enough that they can make those decisions and then become the pipeline into that, and then the community college, and it does build and build. Yeah. And the nice thing is the teams work together to make them a true pathway, so that every program that you have can lead and feed into the next one. So if you want to continue to build your skills, there's a journey. Yeah.
The event is Driving Impact for Manufacturers Conference here, and again, give a shout out. We didn't really go through all the breakouts. You were talking about emerging technologies. Maybe hit that up here for a second.
So in our emerging technologies, we're going to talk about two topics. One is robotics and implementing robotics. We have C&J Industries. We have Brandon Kegley coming. He's the guy that's making it happen on the shop floor. So you've got someone with real world experience implementing some of these technologies. He's also dabbled in AI too. I haven't seen his deck, so I don't know all of that, but he's got a lot of tricks in his sleeve.
Nice.
And then we have Andreas Welsh, who's actually a globally known AI expert. He's former SAP. He does keynote speaking. We've used him as a resource to do AI Explorer training. He's coming to our conference. He's actually going to give two talks, one in the executive leadership to talk about, as a leader, how do you need to think about adopting AI? And then in the emerging technologies space, he's going to give another topic on integrating human into AI.
So you're really running at it. I mean, because you have to.
You have to. And if not us, who else?
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, it's in their name, the Industrial Resource Center. So this is where they tap in. So again, folks that want to register, it's nwirc.org/DIFM26. Sounds like you're going to have some exhibits. Talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
Sure. We have we have 19 different sponsors. So they'll have spaces around the perimeter of our main
Froggy Radio. Come on now. Well, hey, got to hand it to them. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be we have some new vendors that may be interesting for people to talk to that are have services that are available. But we like it as an opportunity to showcase the capabilities of some of our industry partners. So like the ALEC down in Allegheny, also the Gannon Makerspace. Those are always great to showcase some of the capabilities that the universities have. We love to do programming that partners with them because they've got that educational arm and they have labs that are available. So coming up with programming where we're thinking about things as a collective is definitely one of our strategies.
So you have the conference coming up. You've got your connection event after the conference here. What else is on tap as we go into the summer and into the fall here for NWIRC?
So we're going to take a breath.
Yeah, we'll let you.
It's a lot to put on a conference, and then also ramping into this role, and I will have completed a year in April, and then as the CEO, July 1st was my start date last year. So It's hard to believe. It's been pretty amazing ride. I think looking into the future, we're still going to continue to lean into AI. I'm in conversations with a few different organizations, namely robotics, industry 4.0, meaning the sensors, the IoT devices, security, and AI. No, that was the obvious one.
Sure.
To put on an event possibly over the summer.
Oh, wow.
And it would be kind of a fun way to expose some of the new technologies and some of the risks that are available in a happy hour kind of a way. So more to come on that.
And if you're a manufacturer and they've heard about you, maybe they get the mailings and the emails, but they haven't plugged in. What's the best route to say, I really need another set of eyes on what I'm doing here?
So I mean, on our website, we're happy to take contact information there. We turn that information around pretty quickly. There's also...
You almost have like case managers, or how do you approach it?
So our region is divided. We have strategic business advisors. They're a great resource to help you listen to what your challenges are, connect you with the right resources, and help you move forward. If we have programs to help offset costs, we're always A, we want to have them, but B, we want to find them. So as we hear the challenges, whether we have a resource or not, we can start to collect this stuff and build a case to go after those. And then a lot of us are very active on LinkedIn. And so if manufacturers want to contact us directly through either our company LinkedIn page or any of the employees through LinkedIn, I think that's just another easy way to get in touch.
Yeah, it's an important resource when you think about the enormity. You said 13 counties, right?
Yeah.
The enormity of the geography, the enormity of the product, the gross product coming out of these manufacturers. It's such a huge, huge jobs, family sustaining jobs. I mean, there's so much importance around all this.
And a lot of it, I mean, it's pretty cool stuff, but some of it can't be shared. Some of our manufacturers are in supply chains like the Department of Defense, and they're making some very interesting things that they can't talk about.
Right.
And so
yeah,
it's limiting in that way, because you want to recruit and promote people to get into these careers, but they can't share what they do.
Right. Quick train question. If we were to adopt like that big, next Amtrak approach, do you think that we could ever get some of that business here in Erie? What do you think? I mean, because I know that they're building. They used to build locomotives for Amtrak here at one point, but now I think it's all Siemens in upstate New York or something like that.
Is it? I haven't.
You haven't kept. Yeah.
I haven't kept up.
Yeah, it would. I think there's so much interest in passenger travel right now, train travel.
Oh, especially right now.
That the money's going to start to work, I would think.
Sure.
And it'd be great to get back to our roots, building those locomotives like that. So, anyway, I appreciate it, Sarah. Anything else on your end? We're good?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Make sure you check this out on the NWIRC.org. Sara Hanks, President and CEO of the NWIRC. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Here it is, 4:53.